Super Mario Galaxy is one of the greatest games ever made. See? Look, it's right there. Sending Mario to space was probably one of the greatest decisions in gaming history. Space allows for almost infinite creativity, and I feel this is shown in Good Egg Galaxy, the second level. It's split into 3 stages, or stars: Dino Piranha, a snack of cosmic proportions, and King Kaliente's Battle Fleet. They all do something different from one another, but they all start in the same place. From this starting planet, you can see all the other planets around in the galaxy. In the opening scene for the level, you are shown where your end goal is, which is the same for all the other stars in the level. The planet that you start on is made to look like a garden. It's very inviting to the player and lowers tension with its majority green colour and small house ahead. It's very open above the player, giving that feeling of freedom and calm that there should be in space. Half-Life 2 creates the opposite effect by using a light blue colour to create a more depressing feeling, showing how colour can be used in different ways. The music here also gives that sense of freedom. It's very light-hearted, and gives you the sense that this is the start of a grand adventure. Straight away we can see a divergent path the game wants us to take. There is a correct way to progress through the mission, and it changes for each star. For Dino Piranha, you need to get to the top of the tower on the other side of the planet. On a snack of cosmic proportions, you need to get to the section of the castle that sticks out to the side, and on King Kalente's battle fleet, you need to get to the top of the house at the start of the level. The castle on the other side of the planet is completely contrasting to the starting area. It's very narrow, and there isn't much space around the castle. On top of that, the colour is completely different. The grey and brown colours give a really oppressing feel to the area, as well as the large castle that looms over Mario and whizzes around the courtyard. Nicole Martin's Ferreira talks about how grey is used to represent dullness and depression because of how it lacks much vibrancy. At no point can you return here in any of the other missions. Brycer talks about how points of no return are used to move the game forward while also locking areas off that you don't need to go to. Let's start with Dino Piranha. On the next planet, you are tasked with collecting star pieces. There are large boulders that roll around the planet. You can't do anything about them here, so you need to focus on collecting the star pieces. There is a mud-like surface on the planet, however, that will slow you down. Once you get all 5 star pieces, you can move on. It's worth noting that at no point in the mission can you return to any of the previous planets. On the third planet, you have 2 options. The normal option, where you use the rubber bulbs to attack the purple piranha plant, or the secret route, where you kill a piranha plant on top of a pipe and go through it. The second one is longer, and eventually will put you on the same planet that it would do if you went the other way. The normal route does give you a tutorial on how to kill the boss later through the level though, so it may be worth doing that instead of doing the secret way. After getting to the top of the fort on the next planet, you can access the boss fight. Here you can take part in one of my favourite pastimes, hitting newborns with a wrecking ball. Using the technique from before, you can break Dino Piranha out of its egg and start the battle. The music is very fast paced, which makes it feel very childlike. Mario bosses almost always employ a rule of 3, especially in 3D games. So after hitting the boss's tail bucket 3 times, the fight is over. The boss's planet also has a lot of healing and star bits on it, so if you need healing, the game provides them for the player. The second star is slightly different. But before you move to the next planet, you can go to the top of the tower from before and see where your end goal is glowing in the distance. Game designer Tommy Norberg uses the term landmark instead of weenie, as it's viewable from many, if not all, regions. All the next planets from this point onwards are different. At the end of each planet is a launch star just like before, but this time there are other launch stars floating around in space. This is looping, or zigzagging. Valve talks about looping being a guide to previous location and is very useful in single player games because of its linear properties. It gives the player the illusion of choice, immerses the player, makes the most out of the level's resources, and guides the player well. You can see it done in Half-Life in the chapter Questionable Ethics, as you have to go through the level, find an NPC, but then loop back in a different way. It's the first instance of looping in the level, and in the game as a whole, as you need to collect 100 star bits for the Hunky Luma that's waiting up ahead. If you miss any from before, you can go back and get them. Once you collect the star bits, you can return to the Luma and get to the glass planet that you can see when you're circling around the area. Ketul Majmudar says that gating is used to block off future space in the game, forcing the player to complete an action in order to progress. It drops off on the top of the launch star, telling you that this is the end of the planet and the end goal of this section. The gameplay does change slightly here, turning into a 2D platformer. The camera comes in close and you can only go left and right. This is a maze-like area where you can, if you get lost, get back to the start of the planet. Once you get to the top of the planet, you can move on to the final one, the one that we saw at the beginning of the level. In here, you have to collect blue star pieces in order to reach the middle and collect the star. The final star is King Kaliente's battle fleet. You'll show a new mechanic on the second planet straight away. Coconuts. You can spit out the coconuts and destroy objects, mainly the spiny plants on the planet. Later in the level, coconuts return but in a different way. You're presented with two enemies far away shooting at you. At this point, the player knows that they can attack coconuts, and when they attack one of the enemy coconuts that shoot a shot at them, they can get rid of the enemies and lower the drawbridge. Again, an example of gating. From here, the player needs to make their way to the boss arena. This boss also employs the rule of 3. This boss also shoots coconuts at you like the enemies from before, and once you hit him 3 times with the coconut, he dies and gives you the power star. The level ends here, and then you can move on to the next one. This level is very friendly and eases you into the game very well. The use of colour and music does this especially well, really on the first planet. The level also lets you know where you're going by showing important landmarks at the start of the level through its intro cutscenes. All of the missing in this video will be in the video description, as well as the people/games referenced during the video. Thank you for watching.